Inspector West. Inspector West, the radio adaptation of the best-selling crime stories of today. Introducing John Creasy's famous detective, Inspector West. After successfully concluding the Liddell Hay case, Roger West is called in to investigate the death of Wilfred Arlen, whose wife is afterwards attacked and robbed. Suspicion falls on a certain Ralph Latimer, who can't as yet be found. But when word is received of the death of a man named Lionel Bennett, in circumstances similar to the previous murder, West asks Mrs. Wilfred Arlen if her husband knew anyone of that name. She replies that her husband and Lionel Bennett were cousins.
Were your husband and Lionel Bennett first cousins, Mrs. Arlen?
Why, yes. Lionel's mother and Wilfred's father were sister and brother. What about it? You don't think Lionel had anything to do with...
No. Were they good friends?
Well, I suppose you could say that, although we only saw Lionel and Mary about once or twice a year. But we got along very well with them. There was never any quarrel or anything like that. Why, Mr. West?
Do you know when your husband and Mr. Bennett last saw each other?
Just before Christmas. We went to see them. They live near St. Albans.
Did Lionel Bennett know your friend, Ralph Latimer?
I can't imagine why you're bringing that up. No, of course Lionel didn't know Ralph. I've told you the truth about that. Do you want to humiliate me any further?
I don't want to humiliate anyone, Mrs. Arlen. I just want to get at the truth.
Do you seriously think Ralph Latimer had something to do with my husband's death?
We don't know. We can't find him.
Do you mean he's run away?
Now, that remains to be seen. Mrs. Arlen, did you ever lend Latimer any money? Oh, so you did.
I helped him once or twice, and he invested some money for me at one time.
Did your husband know anything about that?
No, it didn't concern him. It was my own money, not his.
How much? Altogether, I mean.
Oh, I'm not sure. About £2,000, I suppose.
Recently?
No, not really. 6 months ago was the last. Why are you asking me these questions? I had a perfect right to do what I liked with my own money.
You trusted Latimer implicitly, didn't you?
Of course I did.
I wish you hadn't. He wasn't worth it.
What do you mean?
He's borrowed money from other women.
Oh.
He is not worth suffering for, Mrs. Arlen, and he's not worth protecting. It was Latimer who attacked you, wasn't it?
No.
I think you know it must have been.
Yes?
Sorry to trouble you, but is Chief Inspector West there, please?
Just a moment. Mr. West?
Oh, for me?
Yes.
Thank you. Hello?
Burnaby here, sir.
Yes, Burnaby.
There's another message just come in, sir. Ralph Latimer is believed to be at 8 Milbury Road, Fulham.
8 Milbury Road. That isn't very far from where I am now.
No, sir. That's why I thought it was best to ring you. The occupant of the house is a Miss Rose Morton.
Oh, good man, Burnaby. Are any of our people there yet?
Yes, sir. By this time, the place should have been surrounded. I'm just on my way there in a squad car. Can we pick you up?
No, I've got my own car, thanks. But I'll meet you in front of the house at 4 o'clock.
Right you are, sir. I'll leave right away.
Was that message about Ralph?
Why should it have been?
Because I don't believe he could be anywhere in this neighborhood.
Why?
I'm sure he'd have come here to see me.
And according to my information, he is visiting another woman. A girl named Rose Morton. Ever heard of her?
No, and I don't believe it's Ralph at all.
Well, we'll soon find out. Goodbye for the present, Mrs. Arlen. I'll let myself out, thanks.
Rose Morton. I wonder if she's on the telephone. Morris. Morrison. Morse. Morton. Oh, so many of them. Richard Morton. Robert Morton. Rose Morton, that's it. 8 Milbury Road, Fulham. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Here I am, sir. Oh, hello, Burnaby. This the house?
Yes, sir, number 8.
Well, what's the story?
Well, you remember that album of photographs we found at Latimer's flat, sir? Well, I circulated the photographs among our men, and one of them recognized a girl called Rose Morton, who lives at this address.
Has she got a record?
Well, not exactly, sir. But according to our man, she's been associating with some pretty doubtful types. She's an entertainer of sorts, does a bit of dancing, a bit of singing, gets an occasional job at a nightclub, but hasn't been working much lately.
And where does Latimer come into it?
Well, sir, as soon as I got hold of that information, I alerted the district, and shortly afterward got another report from a man on the beat. He said that someone who answered to Latimer's description had been seen to enter the house about an hour ago. As far as they know, he's still there.
You've done very well, Burnaby. Are all our people on the job?
Yes, sir. We've had all exits covered for the last 20 minutes. But the place is a regular rabbit warren. There's a service lane with all kinds of offshoots, but we're watching them all as far as possible.
You brought a search warrant, I suppose?
Yes, sir. Right here.
Well, come on, then. We'll see if we can persuade someone to answer the door.
Can't say they didn't hear that.
No, they'll probably guess it's the police.
Someone coming now, I think.
Yes? Who is it?
Good evening. We're police officers. Are you Miss Rose Morton?
What do you want?
Is Mr. Ralph Latimer here?
Who?
Ralph Latimer. I understand he's a friend of yours.
Well, you understand wrong. I've never heard of him.
Perhaps you'll recognize him from this photograph, Miss Morton.
Show us.
Oh, there you are. Ever seen him before?
No.
He isn't here.
No.
Mind if we come in and take a look round?
You've no right to force yourselves in here.
Burnaby?
This is a search warrant, Miss Morton.
You coppers, hounding the lives out of us. That's what you're always doing.
May we enter?
Oh, do what you like. I don't care.
Come on, Burnaby.
Right behind you, sir.
Before we start looking round, Miss Morton, do you still say you don't know Ralph Latimer?
Oh, I know him all right, but he isn't here now. He's gone.
When did he go?
About half an hour ago.
What was he doing here?
Any reason why a gent shouldn't call on a lady if he wants to?
It all depends on the gent and the lady. What do you want? Money?
Yes. He said he needed 20 quid, but I didn't have that much money in the house.
How much did you give him?
A fiver. That was all I had. I told him to take it and get. I said I'd have the police on him if he bothered me again.
Have the police on him for what?
Never you mind.
Search the house, Burnaby.
Yes, sir.
Now listen, Rose.
Who told you my name was Rose?
Oh, we hear these little details. But we haven't a thing against you, and we don't want to make difficulties. If you're living a decent, respectable life, you've nothing at all to worry about. But we want straight answers about Latimer. Have you seen the evening papers?
No. What's he been doing?
We're not sure he's been doing anything yet, but we may be able to help us in connection with the Arlen murder.
Murder?
You've read about it, I suppose?
That was the bloke who was shot dead in the motor car.
Yes.
Well, I'll bet Ralph didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, why do you say that?
Ralph's no murderer. Why, he wouldn't even be game enough to have a smack at me. You've made plenty of mistakes, you coppers, but you've never made a bigger one than this. Ralph wouldn't kill anyone. He'd be too scared.
When you threatened him with police action, what did you have in mind? What had he been up to?
I suppose I'll have to tell you. He peddled dope. I didn't fall for it, though. I found out from one of my girlfriends, and wild horses wouldn't drag her name out of me, so you needn't waste your time. I told him tonight that if he came here again, I'd ring the police. I don't think he'll bother me any more, though.
Did he say why he wanted money?
Told me he had some bills to pay. I laughed at that. He never paid anyone if he could help it.
He didn't say he was on the run from the police.
No, but it doesn't surprise me. He looked a bit scared.
Which way did he go out?
Why, the front way, of course.
You sure?
Why should I tell a lie?
Well, I don't know, but I think you're doing just that.
You bloomin' coppers never believe anything.
Which way did he go, Rose?
Well, come to think of it,
That's right. Second thoughts are often the best.
I didn't hear the front door close.
I'm sure you didn't.
I was so glad to get rid of him, I told him he could find his own way out and slammed the door on him.
So he could have gone out the back door.
Well, that's what he'd do if he knew you were after him, wouldn't he?
Did he know I was after him?
Not at first.
What do you mean by that?
Nothing.
I want the truth, Rose. Who warned him?
I don't know who it was, but I think it must have been a dame.
On the telephone?
Yes. I don't know how she knew he was here.
Well, I can answer that one, Rose. I told her.
More fool you.
I'm beginning to realize that.
Can't find any sign of anyone in the house, sir.
I told you he'd gone. He was only here for about 10 minutes.
Did he say where he was going?
Why should he?
Answer my question.
No, he didn't.
All right, Rose, but listen to me. We want to find Latimer. So if he shows up again, hold him on some excuse and let us know. Will you do that?
No, I won't.
Don't let any foolish ideas about loyalty stop you, because if you help him to get away, you'll find yourself in trouble with us. You wouldn't like that very much, would you?
Coppers.
Come on, Burnaby.
That's the back way, sir. I've been out there.
Well, all right, we'll take another look round. If we've lost him, Burnaby, it's my fault.
Well, how's that, sir?
I mentioned this address to Mrs. Arlen, and I think she ran to warn him that we were coming.
But we had the place surrounded by then, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir. Positive. Now, here's the backyard, sir.
Yeah. Nowhere he could hide.
Only in the wash house, and I've been in there.
He tried to get over the back fence. He'd been nabbed.
Yes, sir. I don't know where he could have gone.
There's only one way unguarded, Burnaby.
Where's that?
Upwards.
Upwards. Oh, you mean the roof?
Give me a leg up to the roof of the wash house, will you?
Right. There you are, sir.
That's it. Now, up to the other roof.
Look out, sir! There he is, right in front of you!
The missing Latimer, wanted on suspicion of murder, is run to earth at last. But can he be captured? Or will he be able to evade arrest again? We'll learn that in the next exciting chapter of this John Creasy thriller, Inspector West, adapted for radio by John Ormiston Reed, and produced in the studios of Hector Crawford Productions by Dorothy Crawford.